Thank you for having me, and first I want to say that the work that I'm showing today was supported through a grant from the School of Education and through a collaboration with the CEWiT office. It's located in the School of Education. So I teach in the School of Education, and I largely teach early childhood, primary, and elementary teachers who are going to be going out and working with very young children, ages 3 to 8 years old. This is a group of women, largely, that get constructed as technology laggers. In my view, these are teachers who understand the importance of being able to use tools quickly and effectively. And for those of us who have taught with groups of 2-year-olds, we know that if you don't engage them, you have about a 2-3 second window before they start leaving. So, it's a pretty important area to be able to use technology effectively if you're going to use it at all. And so I bring that to my classroom as well. So what I want to have my students be able to do is to be able to seamlessly use technologies in what they do. And so this summer I was able to spend about a week exploring iBook Author with CEWiT, their support, and I spent another probably week or two developing and changing my probably 300-page course pack into an iBook. It's cheaper for my students now, but it also has this integration of technologies that brings together sort of the book itself into what I think of as a technology ecology. So I'm going to show a little bit of that today. That's all the premise. And it will pop up. Okay. So if we had an Apple TV here, we could just seamlessly do this through AirPlay. But I'm hooked up, and I'm going to go to my iPad iBook library, open that up, and here's my book.
Could you look to the side some of this?
Let's see, where would it, I could actually sit down and do this. Is that good? Oh, you're connected.
Here, let's do this chair.
Okay.
It's much more comfortable.
There we go. All right, I'll sit right here. This is nice. All right. Okay, so one of the things I have my students do is everyone creates their own blog, and they use this blog as a place to develop their public teaching voice. And through this, I give them some examples. So one of the examples that I have is I have my own blog that is a blog that informs teachers and has resources for other exemplary blogs, including blogs of students in the past. So they go through a step-by-step process, and they can create their own blog as well. Okay? And so I have all the directions that's over here. The blog is a way in which they can respond. So one of the first things they do is they go out into the community on literacy digs, and they find out what are the resources and the things that children are actually doing out in the world. And so they use their blog to report on the literacy that they find, and they also read articles. So this article is called The Donut House, and I was able to insert this widget through a third-party source called BookRead and embed that into my ebook. So the PDF that would normally be in my course pack is just embedded in this. Okay? Then I'm back to the book. Okay, and I'll show you a little bit of the interactivity. So one of the things I want students to be able to do is take the things that they've learned in class and use it out and apply it in the field. And so we have apps for the iPad that they're able to download. We try them out in class. There are ways in which they can teach various concepts. This is a letter recognition. Since I've downloaded this already onto my iPad, I can just open it from here. I got it. Okay.
R-O-U-S.
Hilarious!
So it's adorable.
What was that called again?
That was called Endless Alphabet.
Okay.
There are a lot of
The moms
cute-
wanna know
yeah,
in the back of the
a lot
room.
really cute apps. I don't usually like the letter recognition apps, but then there are these magnet sorts and things like this. So my students take this out and work with iPads in the classroom and can actually apply that. Okay. Jenny, how much time do I have left?
2 minutes.
Okay, good. All right. So that's really fun, but they also are going to be learning how to assess children, and so there are some tools for that. Just go to reading assessment. And this gets quite complex for students because they have to learn how to listen to students, how to record the miscues that they make as they read, and then what to do with those. But now we have some tools, and again, this is another app that they can use, that allows them to listen, to press the record button, and they can actually, as the child talks, we make a mark for everything that's correct, and then when there's a miscue, we write it down. And there's a way in which then they can calculate all the errors and get a really good picture of what that child's going to be able to do. When my students were doing this before with technology, it requires a recorder and a phone and uploading and all of these other steps, and this is all just right at their fingertips. So they are just loving that kind of connectivity. Okay. I wanted to also show, it's a little bit laggy here. Okay, so when they calculate all of these scores, they're able to get data that they can put into a widget that I have in my own blog. And they can enter the percentiles that students get in various kinds of queuing strategies, and they get a personalized picture of what that looks like with a radar chart. And I use that through Excel. Anyway, so you can see that there are these synergies between assessment and being able to pull in data and use it pretty seamlessly. And before, they would have to find my blog, find where that was, look at the print. It's just all pretty seamless. So the final thing I want to show you, and I'll just go here, is something I'm calling Literacy Play Shop, because one of the things I want students to understand is that children's worlds are digital, and that when we insist on books and print and reifying that kind of a form of literacy, that we're ignoring the things that they already know and bring to school. And so with this, they're doing filmmaking, and so they can take these iPads out, they can create films with young children, they can edit the film and create a pretty interesting product. And I'll show you one more app before we. Puppet Pals is one that's very simple for them. They can use this to take a photo of the child or the child's toy or the child's favorite characters and select a few, select a backdrop, maybe the Starbucks cup, no, let's do this one. And then they can press the record button and they can begin to animate and move things around. Tell a story, you can make this larger, more off-screen, more on-screen, and when we're done, then they play again. And they can begin to animate and move things around. Okay. So it's so intuitive. Little children have no trouble getting started on this. So with all of these things together, I'm finding that that students are making much better use of technology. The nice thing for me is I supervise this course. I have a number of AIs who teach it for me. I had the experience this year of just being able to hand an AI the iBook and say, here's the course, and here are all the components. And they need far less support from me on a weekly basis, which is a nice thing. But I think overall, I'm really liking this so far, and I can talk to you more about the process of using iBooks, Author, if you'd like. I'm sure there are the things that people would like to hear about. So, thank you.